The cold hit her face like shattered glass. Serafina Washington sat on the bench under the dying streetlight. Black satin dress soaking through with snow she couldn't feel anymore. Her arms were bare. Her breath came out in sharp clouds that disappeared into the dark. She wasn't supposed to be here. She was supposed to be inside, warm, loved. But Malik had thrown her out an hour ago. The wind-down Route 12 screamed through the empty road, carrying ice that bit into her skin. She pulled her knees up to her chest, wrapping herself tight, but nothing helped. The cold wasn't just outside. It lived in her bones now, in the place where hope used to sit. Her husband's voice still echoed in her skull. "You're broken, Serafina. A real woman gives her man a legacy." Hi viewers, kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is. She pressed her palms against her eyes, trying to stop the tears from freezing on her cheeks. The doctor had told him yesterday. Clear as daylight. Malik was the one with the issue. Not her. Never her. But he still blamed her anyway. Still shoved her toward the door in her evening gown. The one she'd worn for their anniversary dinner that never happened. "Get out. I don't want to see your face." She hadn't even grabbed a coat. Now she sat in the snow, wondering if anyone would notice if she just stayed here. If she just let the winter take her. A discarded thing. Unneeded. Forgotten. Headlights cut through the storm. Serafina flinched, turning her face away from the glare. A black SUV rolled to a stop 20 feet down the road. The engine hummed low, predatory. She held her breath. Her heart kicked hard against her ribs. The door opened, but it wasn't a man who stepped out first. 3 small figures climbed down from the vehicle, bundled in thick coats and knitted hats. Toddlers. Identical. They stood in a perfect line in the snow, clutching tiny teddy bears like soldiers holding weapons. Serafina blinked, confusion cutting through the cold. Then the man stepped out. Tall, broad shoulders wrapped in a black coat that looked more expensive than her entire life. His face was carved from stone, sharp jawline dusted with snow, dark eyes scanning the road like he owned it. He moved with the kind of calm that made the air pull tight. Dangerous, controlled, certain. He looked at her, and the storm seemed to stop. Before we go further, what would you do in Serafina's place? Tell me in the comments. The man walked toward her slowly, boots crunching through ice. The 3 boys followed close behind, silent and watchful. She wanted to run, but her legs wouldn't move. Her body had already given up. He stopped a few feet away. "Signora." His voice was low, smooth, touched with an accent that curled around every word. "Italian. You will freeze to death out here." Serafina didn't answer. She couldn't. Humiliation burned hotter than the cold. "I'm fine," she whispered finally. "You are shaking. I've been shaking for years." The words came out before she could stop them. Honest, raw, broken. The man's expression didn't change, but something flickered behind his eyes. Recognition, maybe, or understanding. He studied her face, the bruises on her arms, the smudged makeup, the way her dress clung to her like a funeral shroud. One of the toddlers stepped forward, the smallest one. He reached out with a tiny gloved hand and touched the hem of her dress. His brothers moved closer, forming a half circle around her legs. They stared up at her with wide, serious eyes, like they'd been waiting for her. The man's gaze shifted to his boys, then back to her. "What happened to you?" he asked. Serafina shook her head, shame choking her throat. "My husband didn't want me anymore." "What?" She hesitated. The truth tasted like poison, but she said it anyway. "Because I can't have children." The silence stretched long and heavy. The man's jaw tightened. His eyes went cold. Not angry, colder than that. Calculating. He looked down at his 3 sons. They looked back at him, then at her. A man throws away a loyal woman because of biology? His voice dropped into something lethal. "No, that is not a man. That is a coward." The certainty in his words made her chest crack open. "You deserve better," he added quietly. "No one chooses me," Serafina whispered. The man knelt down beside the bench. Eye level now, close enough that she could see the snow melting in his dark hair. "You are wrong," he said. "Someone will." Before she could respond, new headlights appeared at the far end of Route 12. The man's entire body shifted. Predatory. Ready. His hand moved toward the inside of his coat. Stay behind me, he ordered. Fear spiked through her chest, sharp and immediate. But she could tell, instinctively, that this man wasn't the danger. The danger was coming. A single car slowed to a stop. Doors opened. 3 figures stepped into the snow. Men, large, armed. The tallest one sneered. So this is where the mighty Dante Fabry hides now. Babysitting. Dante. So that was his name. He didn't respond, just positioned himself so Serafina and the boys were completely shielded. The intruder's gaze slid to Serafina. His smile turned ugly. Pretty thing, he said. Not really your type, Fabry. You like them loud and expensive. Serafina flinched. Dante didn't. His voice turned to ice. Watch your mouth. What? You claiming her? Everything stopped. Even the wind held its breath. Dante stepped forward. His voice dropped to a whisper that cut deeper than any shout. Yes, he said. I am. The rival's hand moved towards Serafina's face. Dante's gun was out before the man's fingers crossed the halfway point. Metal gleamed under the streetlight. Cold. Final. Touch her, Dante said softly, and I will remove your hand at the wrist. The man froze. His smirk died. Serafina's heart slammed against her ribs. She couldn't breathe, couldn't move. The 3 toddlers pressed closer to her legs, small hands gripping the fabric of her dress like anchors. One of them whimpered. Without thinking, Serafina reached down and rested her hand on the boy's head. Gentle, protective. His brothers leaned in immediately, drawn to her warmth like moths to a flame. Dante saw it. His eyes flicked to her hand on his son's hair, then back to the rival. Something shifted in his expression. Subtle, dangerous. Back away, Dante said. The rival raised both hands in mock surrender, stepping backward with a grin that didn't reach his eyes. Relax, Fabry. Just testing the waters. Test them again, Dante replied, and you will drown. The man laughed, but it sounded hollow. Forced. Dante didn't lower the gun. Serafina's pulse hammered in her ears. She'd never been this close to violence before, never stood in the center of it. But somehow, with Dante between her and the wolves, she didn't feel like prey. She felt protected. The smallest toddler tugged on her dress. She looked down. He was holding up his teddy bear, offering it to her with both hands. His brothers did the same. 3 identical gestures. 3 tiny acts of trust. Tears burned behind her eyes. They never do that, Dante said quietly, still watching the rivals. They have never walked to anyone. Ever. Serafina swallowed hard. Why me? Because they know. Know what? Dante's phone buzzed in his coat pocket. Once. Twice. He pulled it out with his free hand, gun still trained on the men in front of him. The screen lit up his face. His jaw tightened. He read the message in silence, then slipped the phone back into his pocket. You need to leave, he said to the rivals. Now. The tallest one scoffed. You can't order us around, Fabry. This road doesn't belong to you. No, Dante agreed, but the men surrounding you do. The rivals went still. Serafina's breath caught. From the shadows beyond the streetlight, figures emerged. Silent, armed, moving with the precision of soldiers. They formed a perfect perimeter around the rivals, cutting off every exit. Dante's men, they'd been there the whole time. The rival boss's arrogance crumbled. His eyes darted left, then right, counting the odds, realizing the mistake. You set us up, he hissed. No, Dante said calmly. You walked into a trap because you underestimated me. Again, one of the toddlers started crying. Soft at first, then louder. Serafina crouched down immediately, ignoring the snow soaking in her knees. She pulled the boy close, whispering soothing words she didn't know she remembered. His brothers crowded in, pressing against her sides. Dante glanced down. For half a second, his expression softened. Then it hardened again. Leave, he told the rivals. Before I change my mind. The men hesitated, then turned. Slowly, carefully, they climbed back into their car without another word. The engine roared to life. Headlights swept across the snow. Then they were gone. The silence that followed felt heavier than the storm. Dante lowered his gun, His men melted back into the shadows, disappearing as quietly as they'd come. Serafina stayed crouched in the snow, arms wrapped around 3 toddlers who clung to her like she was the only solid thing in the world. Dante turned to face her. "You cannot stay on this bench," he said. She looked up at him, snow clinging to her lashes. "I don't have anywhere else to go." "You do now. I don't even know you." "You do not have to," he replied. "But my sons already chose you." Serafina's throat tightened. She looked down at the boys. They stared back with wide, trusting eyes. "Come with me," Dante said softly. "Just for tonight. Then you may decide." Headlights appeared again at the far end of Route 12. Different car. Dante's entire body went rigid. "Get in the SUV," he said. "Now." Serafina didn't argue. She scooped up the smallest toddler, holding him tight against her chest. His brothers grabbed onto her dress, stumbling through the snow as she ran toward the black SUV. Dante stayed behind, standing in the center of the road like a wall. The new car screeched to a stop. Doors flew open. More men poured out. 5 this time. Bigger. Angrier. Serafina yanked open the SUV door and lifted the boys inside one by one. Her hands shook. Her breath came too fast. "Stay down," she whispered to them. "Don't look." They obeyed. She climbed in after them, pulling the door shut. The windows were tinted dark. She couldn't see what was happening outside, but she could hear it. Voices. Sharp. Hostile. "You think you can embarrass us and walk away, Fabry?" Dante's response was too quiet to make out. Then the sound of metal sliding against leather. More guns. Serafina's stomach twisted. She pulled the boys closer, covering their ears with her hands. One of them whispered, "Papa." "He's okay," she said, praying it was true. "He's okay." A door opened on the driver's side. Serafina flinched, but it was Dante. He slid into the seat, calm as if he'd just stepped out of a boardroom. No blood, no panic, just cold control. He started the engine. "Buckle them in," he said. Serafina's hands moved on autopilot, snapping seat belts across 3 tiny bodies. Her own belt clicked into place just as Dante hit the gas. The SUV shot forward, tires spitting snow. Behind them, the men shouted. A gunshot cracked through the air. Serafina gasped. Dante didn't flinch. He took a sharp turn onto a side road, engine roaring. The SUV fishtailed, then straightened. Trees blurred past the windows. "Are they following us?" Serafina asked, voice shaking. "No." "How do you know?" "Because they're already dead." Her blood went cold. Dante glanced at her in the rearview mirror. "Do not ask questions you do not want answered." She closed her mouth. The boys sat quietly, hands folded in their laps. Like this was normal. Like their father drove away from shootouts every night. Maybe he did. Serafina pressed her forehead against the cold window, trying to steady her breathing. What had she just gotten into? After a long silence, Dante spoke again. "What is your name?" "Serafina," she whispered. "Serafina Washington." "Serafina." He repeated it like he was testing the weight of it. "Italian name. African-American woman. Interesting. My mother loved the sound of it. She chose well." Serafina didn't know what to say to that. "My sons are called Marco, Luca, and Nico," Dante continued. "You have already met them." She looked down at the boys. They stared back. "Hi," she said softly. The smallest one, Nico, maybe smiled. It was the first smile she'd seen all night. Tears pricked her eyes again. Dante pulled onto a main highway, merging smoothly into light traffic. The snow was thinner here. The world looked almost normal, but nothing felt normal. "Where are you taking me?" Serafina asked. "Home." "You're home." "Yes." "What?" Dante's eyes met hers in the mirror. Dark, unreadable. "Because you asked me a question earlier," he said. "You asked why my sons chose you. And I do not have an answer yet." He paused. "But I will." The highway stretched ahead, endless and black. Serafina leaned back in her seat, exhaustion crashing over her like a wave. She didn't know this man, didn't know his world, but for the first time in years, she wasn't shaking. Dante's phone buzzed again. He glanced at the screen. His grip on the steering wheel tightened. "What is it?" Serafina asked. He didn't answer, just pressed the gas harder. The SUV surged forward, swallowing the road. Dante, he finally spoke, voice low and deadly calm. They know your name. The estate appeared through the trees like something out of a different world. Iron gates, stone walls, security cameras tracking every angle. Dante's SUV rolled to a stop in front of the entrance. The gates opened without him touching anything. Serafina stared through the window, heart pounding. "This is where you live?" she whispered. "Yes." It looked like a fortress. The driveway curved through perfectly maintained grounds, snow covering hedges and fountains. Lights glowed warm from tall windows. The house itself was massive. Old-world architecture, columns, arches, wealth that didn't need to announce itself. Dante parked near the front steps. "Stay close," he said. Serafina unbuckled the boys and helped them out. They clung to her hands, one on each side, the third holding on her dress. The front door opened before they reached it. A woman stood in the entrance. Older, stern-faced. She wore a black uniform, and her hair was pulled back tight. Her eyes swept over Serafina with cold assessment. "Senior Fabry," the woman said. "You did not mention a guest." "I do not need to mention anything, Elena," Dante replied smoothly. "Prepare the east wing." "She stays tonight." Elena's mouth thinned, but she nodded. "Of course." Dante guided Serafina inside. The warmth hit her immediately. She almost collapsed from the relief of it. Marble floors, high ceilings, a chandelier that looked like it cost more than Malik's car. Everything was pristine, controlled, intimidating. Serafina felt small. The boys tugged her forward, leading her toward a staircase. "They want to show you their room," Dante said. "Now, they do not ask for much." His voice softened slightly. "Indulge them." So she followed, up the stairs, down a hallway lined with portraits of stern-faced men. The boys pulled her into a large room filled with toys, books, and 3 identical beds. Nico climbed onto one and patted the space beside him. Marco and Luca did the same on their own beds. "You want me to sit?" Serafina asked. They nodded. She sat on Nico's bed. He immediately crawled into her lap, resting his head against her chest. His brothers moved closer, pressing against her sides. Serafina's throat tightened. They felt so small, so warm, so trusting. "When did your mother pass?" she asked quietly. 6 months ago, Dante said from the doorway. Serafina looked up. She hadn't heard him follow. "I'm sorry," she said. "Do not be." His expression was unreadable. She was not a good woman. The bluntness shocked her. But she was their mother. Biology does not make someone a parent. Dante stepped into the room. Care does. Presence does. Love does. Serafina looked down at the boys in her arms. "They have been looking for someone," Dante continued. "Someone soft. Someone safe. They have not had that since she died. And you think I'm that person? I think they already decided you are." Before Serafina could respond, footsteps echoed in the hallway. Elena appeared in the doorway, face tight. "Senior, there's a call. Urgent." Dante's jaw flexed. "From who?" "Corvin Hale." The name hung in the air like poison. Dante's expression went cold. "I will take it downstairs." He looked at Serafina. "Stay here. Do not leave this room." "Why? What's happening?" But he was already gone. Elena lingered for a moment, eyes sharp. "Women do not last long in this house," she said quietly. Then she left too. Serafina sat frozen, boys curled against her. Her heart hammered. What had Dante meant when he said they know your name? Downstairs, a door slammed. Voices rose. Dante's voice, angry, controlled, lethal. Then silence. Nico whimpered. Serafina held him tighter. "It's okay," she whispered. "You're safe." But she wasn't sure she believed it. Footsteps returned. Fast. Heavy. The door burst open. Dante stood in the entrance, coat gone, sleeves rolled up. There was something different in his eyes now. Fury. "Get up," he said. Serafina's blood went cold. "What? You're not sleeping in this room tonight." "Why? What happened?" Dante crossed the space in 3 strides. He lifted her to her feet, hands firm but careful. "Because," he said quietly, "Corvin Hale just put a target on your back." Serafina's legs almost gave out. What are you talking about? Dante didn't answer. He scooped Nico into one arm, gesturing for Marco and Luca to follow. Come, he ordered. Serafina stumbled after him, mind spinning. Target. Hale. She didn't even know who that was. Dante led them down the hallway, through a hidden door she hadn't noticed before. A narrow staircase spiraled upward. Where are we going? She asked. Somewhere safer. They climbed 3 flights. Her lungs burned. The boys stayed quiet, trusting their father completely. At the top, Dante pushed open a heavy door. The room beyond was smaller, simpler. A bed, a chair, one window with steel shutters. This is a safe room, Dante said. Reinforced walls, locked entry. No one gets in without my permission. He set Nico down and turned to Serafina. You stay here tonight. With them. Why can't you stay? Because I have work to do. What kind of work? Dante's eyes went dark. The kind that keeps you alive. Serafina's stomach twisted. I don't understand. Who is Corvin Hale? Why does he care about me? Dante stepped closer, close enough that she could feel the heat radiating off him. Hale is a man who destroys things, he said quietly. And he just learned that I brought you into my home, which means he will try to use you to destroy me. Then let me leave, Serafina said desperately. I'll go. I'll disappear. I don't want to cause you trouble. No, the word was absolute. Dante, you think leaving will save you? His voice dropped to a whisper. He already knows your face, your name, where you came from. If you leave, you die alone. Tears burned her eyes. I'm not worth this. That, Dante said, reaching up to brush a strand of hair from her face, is not your decision to make. The boys climbed onto the bed, arranging themselves in a neat row. Nico patted the space beside him. Serafina looked at Dante. What if something happens to you? Then my men will come for you. He pulled a phone from his pocket and handed it to her. This is yours. One contact. Mine. You call if anything feels wrong. She took it with shaking hands. Dante turned to leave. Wait, Serafina said. He paused in the doorway. Why are you helping me? For a long moment, he didn't answer. Then he looked back over his shoulder. Because 6 months ago, my sons lost the only woman they knew. And tonight, they chose you. That is not coincidence, Serafina. That is fate. You believe in fate? I believe in protecting what is mine. The door closed. The lock clicked. Serafina stood in the center of the room, phone clutched in her hand, 3 toddlers staring at her from the bed. She didn't know what to do. Didn't know how her life had gone from freezing on a bench to hiding in a mafia boss's safe room. Nico made a small sound. She turned. All 3 boys had their arms stretched toward her. Wordless invitation. Serafina's chest ached. She crossed the room and climbed onto the bed. The boys immediately curled around her, warm and trusting. Within minutes, their breathing slowed. Sleep took them, but Serafina stayed awake, staring at the ceiling. Somewhere below, Dante was preparing for war, and she was the reason why. The phone in her hand buzzed. She looked down. A text from Dante. You are not a burden. You're the first thing that has made sense in months. Serafina's breath caught. She read it again, and again. Then the phone buzzed a second time. Different number. Unknown. She opened it. Tell Fabry we're coming for you. The phone slipped from her fingers. The phone hit the floor and shattered. Serafina's scream died in her throat before it could form. Her hands flew to her mouth, eyes locked on the broken screen, still glowing with that message. We're coming for you. The boys stirred. Marco sat up, rubbing his eyes. Miss Serafina? She forced herself to breathe, to smile, to lie. It's okay, baby. Go back to sleep. But her hands wouldn't stop shaking. She slid off the bed, careful not to wake Luca and Nico. Her bare feet touched cold floor. The broken phone lay in pieces near the door. She needed Dante. Now, Serafina crossed to the door and pulled. Locked from the outside. Her pulse spiked. She pounded on the steel with both fists. Dante! Dante, please! Nothing. She pressed her ear against the door. Silence. Thick. Suffocating. Then footsteps. Fast. Heavy. The lock clicked. The door flew open. Dante stood there, gun in hand, eyes scanning the room for threats. What happened? Serafina pointed at the shattered phone. Someone sent me a message. They said they're coming for me. Dante's expression went stone cold. He crouched down, examining the pieces. His jaw flexed. How did they get this number? I don't know. You just gave it to me 20 minutes ago. He stood, pulling out his own phone. 3 quick calls. Orders given in rapid Italian. Then he turned back to her. Pack nothing. We leave in 5 minutes. Leave? Where? Somewhere they cannot find you. But the boys. Come with us. Dante moved to the bed, gently shaking his sons awake. Marco, Luca, Nico, wake up. We're going on a trip. They blinked sleepily, but obeyed without question. Serafina's chest tightened. These children had learned not to ask why. They just followed, trusted, survived. What kind of life was that? Dante handed her a coat. Black, heavy, too big for her frame, but warm. Put this on. She did. He led them down the spiral staircase, moving fast but controlled. The boys held her hands, silent as shadows. At the bottom, Elena waited. Her face was tight with something that looked like fear. The perimeter has been breached, she said quietly. East Gate. 2 men. They are asking for her by name. Dante's hand moved to his gun. How long ago? 3 minutes. Lock down the house. No one in or out except my men. Elena nodded and disappeared down the hall. Dante turned to Serafina. Stay behind me. Do not let go of the boys. They moved through the mansion like ghosts. Hallways, doors, rooms she hadn't seen before. Everything was too big, too quiet, too wrong. A window shattered somewhere above them. Serafina gasped. Dante shoved them into a side room, shutting the door and locking it. Under the desk, he ordered, Now! She dropped to her knees, pulling the boys with her. They crawled into the space beneath a massive oak desk, bodies pressed tight together. Dante crouched in front of them. He handed Serafina his backup gun. If anyone comes through that door who is not me, you shoot. I don't know how. Point. Pull trigger. Do not hesitate. He was gone before she could argue. The lock clicked behind him. Serafina sat in the dark, gun heavy in her hand, 3 toddlers breathing against her sides. Footsteps echoed in the hallway. Voices, not Dante's. She's here somewhere. Hale wants her alive. And Fabry, dead. Serafina's blood turned to ice. The doorknob rattled. Marco whimpered. Serafina pressed her hand over his mouth, tears streaming down her face. The door exploded inward. 2 men stepped inside, guns drawn. Check everywhere. Serafina raised the gun with shaking hands. 1 man moved toward the desk. She aimed. Her finger found the trigger. Then gunfire erupted from the hallway. The 2 men spun toward the sound. Dante appeared in the doorway, face carved from fury. He fired twice. Both men dropped. Silence. Dante crossed the room and pulled the desk back. Out. Now. Serafina crawled out, boys clinging to her. She couldn't stop shaking. Couldn't look at the bodies. Dante took the gun from her hand. You did well. I didn't shoot. You protected them. That is enough. He led them through a different route. Down. Underground. A tunnel she didn't know existed. Where does this go? She asked. To a car. And then to a place Hale will never find. They emerged in a garage. 3 black SUVs waited, engines already running. Dante's men stood guard, faces hard. Get in the middle vehicle, Dante said. Serafina climbed in with the boys. Dante slid into the driver's seat. The garage door opened. They shot out into the night. Behind them, the mansion burned. Flames licked the sky, orange and hungry. Serafina twisted in her seat, staring through the back window. Your home is replaceable, Dante said. You are not. The SUV tore down the driveway, through the gates onto the open road. Serafina held the boys close, heart hammering. She didn't understand this world. Didn't understand how her life had gone from frozen and discarded to hunted and protected. But she understood one thing. Dante Fabry had just burned his own empire to keep her safe. Nico tugged on her sleeve. She looked down. He was holding up his teddy bear again, offering comfort the only way he knew how. Serafina's throat closed. She took the bear and pulled all 3 boys into her lap. Dante's eyes met hers in the rearview mirror. "You are safe now," he said. "For how long?" His expression hardened. "For as long as I am breathing." The road stretched ahead, dark and endless. Somewhere behind them, Corvin Hale was making his next move. And somewhere ahead, a new life waited, if they could survive the night. The safe house sat 30 miles outside the city, hidden behind trees and silence. Dante killed the engine. Serafina stared at the small cabin through the windshield. It looked nothing like the mansion. Wood. Simple. Dark. "This is it?" she asked. "This is where we disappear." The boys were asleep in her arms, exhausted from adrenaline and fear. Dante came around and opened her door. He lifted Nico carefully, then gestured for her to follow. Inside, the cabin was sparse. One main room, a fireplace, a kitchen in the corner, 2 bedrooms in the back. Dante laid Nico on a couch and returned for his brothers. Serafina stood in the center of the room, lost. "Sit," Dante said quietly. "I will start a fire." She sat. He moved with efficiency, stacking wood, striking a match. Flames caught and spread, casting warm light across the walls. For the first time since the bench, Serafina felt her body start to thaw. Dante sat across from her, elbows on his knees. "You need to understand something," he said. "What?" "This war is not new. Hale has wanted me dead for years. But I have always been untouchable. No family, no weakness, nothing he could use against me." Serafina's stomach sank. Until you, then I should leave." "No, Dante, listen to me." His voice was low, intense. "I have spent 6 months raising my sons alone, watching them become quieter, harder, colder. And tonight, for the first time since their mother died, they smiled." Serafina's breath hitched. "Because of you," Dante continued. "They chose you, and I will not let Hale take that from them." "But what if I'm not strong enough for this?" Dante leaned forward. "You sat on a bench in a snowstorm and did not break. You held a gun to protect children who are not yours. You are stronger than you know." Serafina Washington. Tears spilled down her cheeks. "I don't know how to live in your world." "Then I will teach you." She looked up at him. "Why? Why do you care?" For a long moment, he didn't answer. Then he stood and crossed to a shelf. He pulled down a photo frame and handed it to her. Serafina stared at the image. A woman, beautiful, cold-eyed, standing beside Dante with a smile that didn't reach her face. "Their mother," Dante said. "Vivica, she looks empty." Dante's jaw tightened. Because she was. She did not want children. Did not want this life. She stayed because of money, power, status. Serafina's heart ached. "How did she die?" "She tried to betray me." Dante's voice went flat. "Sold information to Hale. Planned to take my sons and disappear. My men discovered it before she could act. And she ran. Hale's men caught her first. They killed her to tie up loose ends." Serafina's blood went cold. "So Hale murdered the mother of your children?" "Yes. And now he wants me." "Yes." The fire crackled. Serafina set the photo down. "You think I look like her, don't you?" Dante's eyes locked on hers. "No," he said quietly. "You are nothing like her. Vivica was beautiful and cruel. You are beautiful and kind. That is why my sons chose you. They recognized the difference." Serafina's chest tightened. "I'm scared, Dante." "Good. Fear keeps you alive. Should I be afraid of you too?" He tilted his head, considering. "Only if you leave." The words hung between them, heavy and certain. One of the boys stirred on the couch. Serafina stood and moved to cover them with a blanket. When she turned back, Dante was watching her. "What?" she asked. "You are already a mother to them. I've known them for 6 hours. Time does not make family. Choice does." Serafina didn't know what to say. Dante stood, moving toward the back bedroom. "You sleep with the boys tonight. I will keep watch." "You're not going to sleep?" "Not until Hale is dead." He disappeared into the shadows. Serafina stood alone by the fire, listening to the boys breathe. Her old life felt like a ghost. Malik, the cold, the rejection, none of it mattered now. She had been thrown away, and somehow she had been found by a man who burned his empire to protect her, by 3 boys who chose her without words. The cabin creaked. Serafina's phone buzzed. Wait, she didn't have a phone anymore. She spun around. A new phone sat on the kitchen counter. She hadn't seen Dante put it there. She picked it up. One message. From Dante. Sleep, Serafina. I will not let anyone hurt you. She read it 3 times, then carried the phone to the couch and lay down beside the boys. They curled into her immediately. Within minutes, exhaustion dragged her under. But just before sleep took her, a single thought burned through her mind. What if Dante couldn't protect her? What if Hale was already watching? Outside, in the trees, a branch snapped. Serafina's eyes snapped open. The fire had died to embers. The room was dark, cold. The boys were still asleep beside her. But something was wrong. She sat up slowly, listening. Silence. Too much silence. Where was Dante? She slipped off the couch, careful not to wake the boys. Her bare feet touched cold wood. She moved toward the back bedroom. Empty. Her pulse spiked. Dante, she whispered. No answer. She checked the kitchen, the bathroom. Every corner. Gone. Panic clawed at her chest. Then she saw it. The front door. Slightly open. Snow blew in through the crack. Serafina's breath caught. She crossed the room and pulled the door wider. Footprints in the snow. Fresh. Leading into the trees. 2 sets. One Dante's. One smaller. Someone had been here. Serafina's stomach dropped. She spun around, racing back to the couch. The boys were still there, still breathing. Thank God. But Dante was gone. And someone had been close enough to leave tracks. She grabbed the phone from the couch and dialed the only number saved. It rang and rang. No answer. Come on, Dante. Pick up. Nothing. A floorboard creaked behind her. Serafina whirled around. A man stood in the doorway. Tall, thin, dressed in black. He smiled. Hello, Serafina. She backed up, putting herself between him and the boys. Who are you? A friend of Corvin Hale. Her blood turned to ice. Get out. Can't do that. He stepped inside, closing the door behind him. He wants to meet you. Says you're very important to Dante Fabry. I'm nobody. Then why did Fabry burn his house down to save you? Serafina's mind raced. Where is Dante? The man shrugged. Dealing with my partner. She'll be dead in about 5 minutes. Rage exploded in her chest. You're lying. Am I? He pulled out a knife. Serafina's heart slammed against her ribs. She glanced at the boys, still asleep, unaware. You don't have to do this, she said. Sure I do. Hale pays well. He moved closer. Serafina grabbed the fireplace poker from the wall. The man laughed. You think that's going to stop me? No, Serafina said. But he will. The window shattered. Dante crashed through in a storm of glass and fury. He tackled the man to the ground, fists moving like hammers. Bone cracked, blood sprayed. The knife skittered across the floor. Serafina grabbed it, hands shaking. Dante didn't stop until the man went limp. Then he stood, chest heaving, blood on his knuckles. He looked at Serafina. Are you hurt? She shook her head, unable to speak. Dante crossed to the boys, checking each one. They were still asleep, somehow untouched by the violence. We need to move, he said. Now. Where? Somewhere Hale cannot reach. Does that place even exist? Dante's eyes burned. I will make it exist. He scooped up Nico. Serafina grabbed Marco and Luca. They ran into the night, leaving the cabin and the body behind. Snow fell harder now, covering their tracks. But Serafina knew this wasn't over. Hale was still out there, still hunting, and Dante couldn't protect her forever. A car appeared through the trees, not one of Dante's. He shoved Serafina behind him, gun already drawn. The driver's door opened. A woman stepped out. Tall, dark skin, sharp eyes. She looked at Dante. Heard you needed an exit. Camila, Dante said, voice tight with relief. Who's the girl? The reason I called you. Camila's gaze slid to Serafina. Assessment. Quick. Cold. She worth dying for? Dante didn't hesitate. Yes. Camila nodded once. Then get in. They piled into the car. Camila hit the gas, tires spitting snow. Where are we going? Serafina asked. Off the grid, Camila replied. Somewhere Hale's money can't reach. Does that exist? We're about to find out. The car tore through the night, leaving everything behind. Serafina looked at Dante. Blood still stained his hands, but his eyes were steady. You came back, she whispered. I told you, he said. I will not let anyone hurt you. But what if? He reached over and took her hand. No what ifs, only promises. The boys slept between them, safe and warm. And for the first time since the bench, Serafina believed him. Outside, the snow erased their path. But inside, something stronger took root. A family built from choice. Not blood, not obligation. Just protection and love. If you're still here, hit that like button. This story is just beginning. The car stopped 3 hours later in a town Serafina didn't recognize. Camila killed the engine. This is as far as I go, she said. Dante nodded. I owe you. You always do. Camila glanced at Serafina. Keep her alive, Dante. She's good for you. Then she was gone, disappearing into the dark like smoke. Dante led them to a motel. Small, rundown, anonymous. He paid cash. The room had 2 beds and a bathroom that smelled like bleach. Serafina laid the boys down on one bed. They curled together instinctively, still asleep. She turned to find Dante sitting on the edge of the other bed, head in his hands. Are you okay? She asked. No. The honesty surprised her. She sat beside him. Talk to me. I have made too many enemies, Serafina, and now you are paying the price. I chose to stay. You did not know what you were choosing. Maybe not. But I know now. Dante looked at her. And you still want this life? Serafina thought about Malik, about the cold, about being thrown away like garbage. Then she looked at the boys sleeping peacefully, at Dante, who had given up everything to protect her. I don't want your life, she said quietly. I want theirs. I want to be the person they run to when they're scared, the one who makes them feel safe. Dante's expression softened. You already are. Then that's enough. His hand found hers. Hale will not stop. I know. He will send more men. I know, and I may not always be fast enough. Serafina squeezed his hand. Then we fight together. Dante stared at her like she'd just said something impossible. You are not a fighter. Maybe not, but I'm not running either. For the first time since the bench, Dante smiled. It was small, tired, but real. You're the first thing that has made sense in months, he said. You already told me that. I know, but it's still true. He stood and moved to the window, checking the parking lot. We stay here tonight. Tomorrow, I make a call. To who? Someone who hates Hale more than I do. And then we set a trap. Serafina's pulse quickened, using me as bait. No, Dante, I will not risk you. You don't have a choice. Hale wants me, so we give him what he wants. Dante turned sharply. Absolutely not. Listen to me. Serafina stood, crossing to him. I'm tired of being the victim. Tired of being thrown away. Used. Hunted. If we're going to end this, we do it my way. Your way gets you killed. Your way gets you killed protecting me. She met his eyes. Let me help. Dante's jaw flexed. If anything happens to you, it won't, because you'll be there. He stared at her for a long moment, then nodded once. Tomorrow we plan. Tonight you rest. Serafina climbed onto the bed beside the boys. Dante stayed by the window, watching the dark. Hours passed. Just before dawn, Serafina's phone buzzed. She pulled it out groggy. A message from an unknown number. Ryla knows where you are. Her blood went cold. She sat up, staring at the screen. Malik, her ex-husband. He'd found her, and now Hale knew too. Serafina looked at Dante. He was already watching her, eyes sharp. What is it? She showed him the message. His expression went lethal. Pack the boys. We leave in 2 minutes. Where? Somewhere your ex-husband will never think to look. He grabbed the car keys. But before they could move, headlights flooded the parking lot. 5 cars. Doors opened. Men poured out, armed. Dante cursed under his breath. Stay inside. Lock the door. Do not open it for anyone. Dante, he was already gone. Serafina grabbed the boys, pulling them into the bathroom. She locked the door and crouched in the tub, holding them tight. Gunfire erupted outside. Shouting. Glass shattered. The boys buried their faces in her chest. "It's okay," she whispered. "Your papa will keep us safe." But her voice shook, because she didn't know if that was true. The bathroom door exploded inward. A man stood in the entrance. Not Dante. Someone else. Tall, clean-cut, expensive suit. He smiled. "Hello, Serafina. My name is Corvin Hale. Tell me in the comments, do you trust Dante yet?" Serafina's scream never made it past her throat. Hale stepped into the bathroom, gun loose in his hand, smile sharp as broken glass. "You're prettier than I expected," he said. She pulled the boys tighter. "Stay away from us. Or what? You'll fight me?" Hale laughed. "You're nobody, Serafina. A discarded wife. Barren. Useless. The only reason you matter is because Dante Fabry decided you do." Rage burned through her fear. "I'm not useless." "No." Hale crouched down, gun resting on his knee. "Then why did your husband throw you out in the snow? Why did he call you broken?" Tears stung her eyes, but she didn't let them fall. "Because he was weak." Hale's smile widened. "And Dante? Is he weak too?" "No." "Then why is he losing?" Serafina's heart stopped. "What did you do?" "Me? Nothing. But my men are very good at their jobs." Hale stood. "Dante Fabry is bleeding out in the parking lot as we speak. And you? You're coming with me." "No." "Yes." He reached for her. The window shattered. Dante crashed through, blood streaming from his shoulder, fury carved into his face. He tackled Hale to the ground, fists connecting with bone. Hale's gun skittered across the tile. Serafina grabbed it. Her hand shook, but her aim didn't. She pointed it at Hale's head. "Stop." Dante froze, chest heaving. Hale laughed, spitting blood. "You won't shoot. You're not a killer." "No," Serafina agreed. "But I'm a mother now, and mothers protect their children." She pulled the trigger. The shot echoed. Hale's laughter died. Silence. Dante stared at her, shock flickering across his face. Serafina dropped the gun, hands shaking violently. "Is he dead?" Dante stood, pulling her into his arms. "It is over." The boys started crying. Serafina broke away, dropping to her knees and gathering them close. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry you had to hear that." But they clung to her anyway, choosing her, even after the violence, even after the blood. Dante's men appeared in the doorway, weapons drawn. "Boss, clean this up," Dante ordered, "and find Ryland Pierce. I want him in front of me by morning." "Yes, sir." Dante turned to Serafina. "Can you walk?" She nodded, though her legs felt like water. He led them out of the motel, away from the bodies, away from the nightmare. A new car waited. They drove in silence. An hour later, they pulled up to a house Serafina had never seen. Small, quiet, surrounded by fields. "Where are we?" she asked. "Home," Dante said. "A new one." He carried the boys inside. Serafina followed. The house was warm, clean, safe. Dante laid the boys in a bed and covered them with blankets. Then he turned to Serafina. "You saved us tonight. I killed someone. You protected my sons. I don't know if I can live with that." Dante stepped closer. "Then I will help you carry it." Tears finally spilled down her cheeks. "I don't know how to be this person. You already are." He cupped her face in his hands. "Serafina Washington, you were thrown away by a man who could not see your worth. But my son saw it immediately. And so did I. I'm still broken." "No." His voice was firm. "You were never broken. You were simply waiting for the right family." Her breath caught. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying stay. Not as a guest. Not as protection. But as ours. Yours. Mine. Theirs. Family." Serafina looked at the boys sleeping peacefully in the next room. Then back at Dante. "What if I'm not enough?" "You already are." She closed her eyes. "I don't know how this story ends." Dante leaned closer, forehead resting against hers. "It ends with you choosing us, the same way we chose you." Serafina opened her eyes, and for the first time in years, she wasn't afraid. "Okay," she whispered. "Okay. I choose you. All of you." Dante smiled and kissed her, soft, certain, like a promise written in fire. When they pulled apart, the boys were standing in the doorway, rubbing their eyes. Nico ran forward, and wrapped his arms around Serafina's legs. "Mama," the words shattered her. She dropped to her knees, pulling all 3 boys in her arms. "Yes, baby, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere." Marco and Luca joined the hug. Dante watched, something shifting in his expression. Peace, for the first time in 6 months. Outside, the sun began to rise. A new day, a new life, built from choice, from protection, from love. Serafina looked up at Dante. "What happens now?" He smiled. "Now we heal." And for the first time since the bench, since the cold, since the rejection, Serafina believed in forever. Not because it was promised, but because she chose it, and it chose her back. If you want to see what happens next in Serafina and Dante's story, drop a comment below and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss powerful stories like this. Stories that remind us that our worth isn't defined by who rejected us, but by who chooses to stay. Share your thoughts in the comments and inspire others. Your story matters too. We'll see you in the next one.